Melody is gone. Kimmi acts like she's running the show. I do not like her anymore. And you already know that one little post opened the floodgates for people to start speaking their minds. And let's be real, Kimmi has never been universally loved. Some people liked her in the early seasons, especially when she was checking Letitia and saying she wouldn't even mess with her if it weren't for their husbands being brothers. Back then, Kimmi spoke her truth. She didn't hold back. But somewhere along the line, it seems like she got a little quiet. People think Maurice sat her down and told her, "You need to back up off Tisha and be a true Scott family member." And from that point, the Kimmi we knew started fading away, instead of speaking her mind. She started protecting certain people, mainly Letitia, and avoiding anything that might rock the Scott family boat. Now, in the middle of all this talk, somebody else chimed in saying, "Nobody is really running the show. I'm glad Melody is gone." The storylines can continue and not be about her. But here's the thing, they couldn't even say Melody's name. You know why? Because Melody made it clear, "Don't use my name in vain." She told them to keep her name out of their mouths. And she wasn't playing. She even said God told her to leave that demonic show, and she left for her own peace. But let's be real, Melody was the backbone of the show. She was the one who brought this whole thing into existence. And now that she's gone, everybody's scrambling, trying to figure out who's going to take that center spot. That's where the whispers about Kimmi come in. Some people believe Carlos King gave Letitia and Marsa the impression that they would be stepping into that position. And maybe Kimmi feels like she needs to step up too. Maybe that's why we've been seeing her a little more in the mix with everybody's business, and even coming for Nail in certain scenes. But let's be honest, Kimmi can be direct. But there's a fine line between being direct and trying too hard to fill someone else's shoes. And that's the energy some viewers are picking up on. Another fan said, "The show isn't the same. It started out with young people doing good, making money, building businesses. And now it's just a ghetto mess with fights and drama every 5 seconds. And you can't really argue with that because the vibe has changed. Now it's about who can throw the most shade and who can clap back the hardest. And instead of feeling like a group of friends building something together, it feels like a battlefield." And here's the real kicker: Melody created the show. Without her, would any of these people even be on TV? That's the question some viewers are asking. People have also pointed out that Kimmi has been spilling a lot about her own family drama this season, and that could go one of two ways. On one hand, it gives us something real to watch. On the other hand, it opens the door for more cracks in her marriage with Maurice to show. 'Cause let's not forget, there are already people who think Maurice doesn't really respect Kimmi the way he should, especially when it comes to how he's treated her son Jalen. And when you have a grown man like Jalen deciding to take a job out of town just to get away from the situation, that's a sign something isn't right. Some fans say Kimmi is too quick to roll over and keep the peace in her marriage, even if it means ignoring her own feelings and her son's feelings. And we can't have a love and marriage Huntsville conversation without talking about Martell Holt and Arian Curry. Word is, Arian, aka Coleslaw, has been dying to get on the show, and some people believe she's finally going to make that happen. But others think Martell is just stringing her along like always, breadcrumbing her with promises he'll never keep. He talks about moving her into an investment property, but not his own house until she gets a ring. But as someone pointed out, too, didn't need a ring to get her pregnant. So why all the sudden rules now? That's just classic Martell. The big question here is, can Kimmi really step into the role that Melody left behind? Or is this just wishful thinking? Because let's be clear, Melody's fan base is loyal. They will follow her wherever she goes. And a lot of them have made it very clear that they're only watching now to see how the show will survive without her. If Kimmi wants to take on that central role, she's going to have to bring more than polite shade and occasional disagreements. She's going to have to carry scenes, start conversations, and give people a reason to watch for her. And right now, a lot of people aren't convinced she's that girl. But there's also another side to it. Some fans are saying, you know what? The show must go on. I miss Mel, but life moves forward. And maybe that's what Carlos King and the network are banking on, that eventually viewers will get used to this new normal. The problem is, if they're wrong, the ratings are going to tell the truth real quick. And let's not forget, Letitia in all this. She and Marsa really were told they'd be filling in for Melody's presence, then that could explain why she's been extra bold this season. But we've also seen Letitia be sneaky, and if she and Kimmi are now working closer together than ever, that could be a dangerous duo for anyone they decide to target, like Nail, for example. Some viewers feel like both Kimmi and Letitia have been ganging up on her, and that's not a good look. So here's the bottom line. There's a huge gap on this show without Melody. Kimmi might want to fill it, but wanting and actually doing are two different things. And if she can't deliver in a way that pulls people in the same way Melody did, then all the extra screen time in the world isn't going to make her the star. Meanwhile, Martell is still playing games. Arian is still waiting for a spot, and Letitia is still being Letitia. This season is going to be messy, and I mean messy. All right, let's keep going because there's still so much more to unpack about this whole Kimmi replacing Melody conversation. And the more we dig, the more it feels like there's more under the surface than what we're seeing on camera. See, one thing about Kimmi is that she has always been very strategic in the way she moves. Back in seasons 2 and 3, when she was clapping back at Letitia and keeping it real, fans loved her for that. But when she started toning things down and siding more with the Scotts, a lot of people felt like she had traded her independence for loyalty to the family brand. That's why now, with Melody gone, people are side-eyeing the way Kimmi has been more front and center in conversations. It feels like a slow shift that's been in the works for a while. And then there's the editing this season.